Brendan Shane here from the Nocturnal Affair. Brendan is the singer and keyboard player. The Nocturnal Affair is a Las Vegas-based band that just released their full-length record called Metamorphosis. The record produced by John Moyer of Disturbed, mixed and mastered by Logan of Machine Head. Those are big names, and we're going to talk about that. It's available on Earache Records, and like I was saying, they are part of Fozzy's Save the World tour, so get out there and check them out. Dark rock, heavy tones with darker melodies. That's how you explain the band. And that's when I saw you live, I said to myself that because I had read the one sheet from the publicist, and I said that didn't sound real dark to me. It was like really heavy. I'm listening to didn't sound dark live, but I listened to the record, and your voice has that deep tone, and there's that Sabbath bombast to the instrumental parts. I hear a lot of Typo Negative. Were you a fan of that band in particular, and what is it that shapes the sound of the Nocturnal Affair, you think?
Typo Negative actually came later, like in the formation of the band. When I had first formed the band, like I want to say 2014, 2015, we were in our early stages. Our older stuff was a little more brooding, but I was heavily influenced by stuff like the 69 Eyes, His Infernal Majesty, or Phil Vallo, or VV, whatever he calls himself now, and which I'm super stoked about. His new stuff. It's awesome. And we did a couple shows, and my guitar player goes, "You sound a lot like Peter Steele sometimes." And and I was like, "Peter Steele," and he just slapped me. He was like, "What the fuck? Like, have you heard Typo Negative?" And I was like, "I've heard a few songs." And he's like, "What's wrong? Like, do your fucking homework. Like Typo influenced the bands that you are influenced by. What are you doing?" So it's I know everybody likes to say, "Yeah, but listen to them since the beginning, since I was a kid." But it was one of those things when growing up, it was never introduced to me. And then I started listening, and it absolutely became a fantastic influence. Peter Steele and the rest of Typo are just amazing writers, amazing musicians.
Mm-hmm.
But when Metamorphosis was like kind of in the early stages, I was listening to a lot of other stuff. I was listening to a lot of David Bowie, listening to some Nine Inch Nails, some Ministry. I mean, a lot of Mike Patton. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, some of that stuff comes through, but it's still the Nocturnal Affair. I don't feel like I'm getting Typo Negative or another version of Typo Negative, but there are those inflections in your voice for sure. Is there a particular band or record that kind of changed your life early on when you were first finding music? What is that? Is there that one revelation record that you threw on and said, "Wow, this is what I want to do"?
So many.
Yeah.
I think a big one for me was Iowa by Slipknot. That blew me away. I was at the time, I want to say pre-teens, early teens. And I'd been listening to stuff like Hoobastank and Taproot, like Nickelback. I was a kid. I was kind of, I was a little sheltered at an early age. I like the heaviest stuff I listened to was maybe, Metallica, a little bit of Slayer that my sister had showed me. That I went to a lot of like, a part of my family was in a biker club growing up. So I went to a lot of like pig roasts in Indian Springs, saw a lot of the heavier bands then, but I really didn't get a chance to hear heavier stuff until I was, late junior high, early high school. And I discovered Iowa by Slipknot, and that turned everything around. And then once again, when I was shown like David Bowie and Prince and like Billy Joel, also stuff like that, which I know is the other end of the spectrum as far as music goes.
Yeah.
But just the songwriting really inspired me.
Yeah.
And I think, you said the one album that definitely influenced me to do what I'm doing now, though.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
there's a band that Ivan Moody from Five Finger was in for like 2 seconds after he was in Motograder, called Ghost Machine. And a buddy of mine handed me their first record. And it was the sounds, everything that I don't know, that John Stevens put together, and with Ivan's voice. I'd heard that, and I was like, holy fuck, like you could do that with music. Like I need to do that too. Like that's fucking awesome. So
that's cool.
I was like maybe 13 years old, 14 years old, and I was like, what the fuck is this? So
that's cool. Yeah, that's always great when you get something like that that really just pushes your boundaries a little bit. You seem to have like a lot of control with your voice. It's just a great versatile voice. It has those lows, has those highs. It's really great to listen to. And you play keyboards on the record too, as well.
Yeah. On the record, I do a lot of the guitar, the bass, the keys, a lot of the stuff that like maybe John or my buddy Andy isn't doing.
Okay. What was your childhood like? I mean, you mentioned, the pig roast and stuff, biker clubs. What kind of musical background and formal training, perhaps? Have you taken voice lessons or, keyboard lessons, things like that?
So growing up, I was in choir. I was in choir since elementary school, middle school, high school. And I'm sure if I ever did go to college, I would have also been in some type of voice class then. But I got very lucky early on in my middle school days that I ended up with a choral director that like classically trained us practically like to have perfect pitch. Unfortunately, it has been a good amount of time since those days. So it's really true. If you don't use it, you lose it. So I wouldn't say I have perfect pitch now, but as long as I've got something telling me what key the song is in, I feel like I could follow along pretty well. But yeah, I've been singing since I was a kid. And then with that, I learned how to learn stuff by ear. So I kind of taught myself the piano. I never really got any lessons. And then as I like learned the guitar and discovered that the piano is almost kind of similar with the way the notes like coincide with it. I'm able to find like guitar chords on the piano. Yeah. It's kind of bullshit, but it works.
yeah. I put my kid into guitar lessons, and they told me start with piano because there is a correlation with all. If you can play piano, they say you can kind of play anything. That's and you did a fine job live. I mean, it's cool to see. I like the singer playing keyboards like that. It breaks it up a little bit and adds a little bit of mystique to the band. It's really cool. How does writing work for the band? Is there, I know you write a lot. Is there a collaborative effort from everybody, or do you bring it in mostly?
When the band first started, I wrote and recorded everything. And it was like getting out of a bad breakup. I had just broken up with another band. I was in a metal band for a short period of time, and we just didn't work out. And I was sour from it being a democracy, because when you start out as a band early on and you haven't really had a lot of experience, you're like, everybody should have like an equal say, and it's all right. Everybody's gonna write equally, and then you find 4 egotistical dudes fighting instead of writing. Right. Sometimes it works out on rare occasions, but a lot of the time I found there's somebody that needs to kind of spearhead the writing process and have a vision, and then people that believe in it, and that's how you really build it. At least that's my experience. Mm-hmm. But I don't know shit, so I could be wrong. So I wrote a lot of everything from the beginning, and then I met our lead guitar player, Andy, who went to fucking Berkeley, and he has this amazing ability to take a song that I've written and go, I see what you did there, but here's what you probably meant musically, going by theory. And he's an amazing guitar player. I'm literally a better musician just from him joining the band. So Andy helps me with a lot of the writing now. And then of course, when John and Logan come in to produce, it was originally going to be like John Moyer comes in, produces. Logan, mixes and masters, engineers, yada, yada, yada. But Logan is also an amazing songwriter and producer. John is an amazing songwriter and producer. So like when they have ideas to songs that, we bring to the table, it's very rare that I disagree with them.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time, they'll help with some writing. And it's just like, I'm trying to put away my pride and not say no and just kind of let others kind of show me that, because I found that while letting other people write with me, I am becoming a better songwriter. So it's starting to become more of a collaborative effort. But for now, I guess I do most of the writing, and then Andy comes in and dots my I's, crosses my T's, and adds amazing fucking guitar solos to everything. So
that's great. And I was going to ask you, you got John Moyer of Disturbed producing the record, along with Logan Mader by his side, from Machine Head, of course. These are two guys.
Machine Head and Once Human. Have you heard Once Human yet?
I have not. I saw that.
Oh my God. Actually, speaking of writing, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Speaking of writing, so Logan's singer for Once Human, Lauren, actually co-wrote our song "1,000 Ways to Die" on the record. Cool. So she's definitely responsible for a lot of that song sounding as fucking awesome as it is. So I'm very grateful that we've been able to work with them.
That is cool. I was going to ask you what type of producer that John is. You get producers that are, hey, we need a bridge here, and they're the kind of the fifth or sixth member of the band where they're restructuring things. And then you have the other guys who are kind of let you do your thing, turn the knobs, slide the sliders, and they're making the sound of the record. For John, he's a hands-on guy.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. He gets his hands dirty. Yeah, I like to call it Moyer magic. And when Mader's there, it's Moyer and Mader magic, Eminem. Yeah. John, and he's got no fear. Like, I'll bring a song to the table and it'll be like, this is good. Show him another one. This is great. Show him another one. And I'm like so excited. I'm like, all right, man, check this out. I was feeling super down, wrote this song, feel great. He's like, yeah, this fucking sucks. All right, here's what it needs. And at first you're like, oh God, like whatever. But he's got the best intentions. And then he's like, what if you did this, and that? And he'll change maybe the way the drums sound, or maybe, take out the guitar here, add a bass thing, do this, do that. Maybe and then he fucking brings the absolute best out of me. So it's like, I don't want to work with anybody else, man. I'm fucking spoiled by this guy. He's amazing.
That's cool. And you were talking about that. You said, the four egos in the room writing, you end up fighting. But you've got somebody who you trust to write and guide you as well. So, you guys, like you say, you have that control. You're giving up a little bit of it because you're trusting the guy next to you, and that's pretty that's special. It doesn't always happen.
And from a selfish perspective, I'm also learning greatly from it too. Like, like they come in and they do the thing, and then I'm like, oh, I didn't look at it like that before. Then the next time I'm sitting down writing a song, I'm like, oh, this is what so-and-so would do. Let's see, maybe do this, do that, do that. So from, I guess, a selfish point of view, I am also growing as a musician.
Yeah.
While not being selfish and letting them write with me. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. Yeah. And the band as a whole, of course, is growing. What was the most difficult part of making this record? Was it the, giving up a little control and starting to trust? What was hard about making this record?
I think the most difficult thing about Metamorphosis was that it was finished in 2019 in December. I think that was the hardest thing. Was absolutely waiting. We got really lucky with this one. Everyone kind of just seemed to agree on what was going on with it. So and then everyone was really cool when there was a disagreement. Like, hey, I understand you're tied to this vocal part. Just try this instead. See how it sounds. And then I always love being proven wrong in the studio, because if it sounds good, it sounds good, and I'm growing as a person. So, yeah, that was probably no, I think the hardest thing about this record was not eating fast food every day in the studio.
There you go. Well, you got plenty of chance on the road here, right?
Oh my God. Dude, look at me. I've had so much Dunkin' Donuts on the
Oh
East
yeah.
Coast. It's insane.
I was talking to the girls in GFM about that, and they're stopping at all the Planet Fitness, and I'm like,
Yep.
the road. I know the road is difficult. I've talked to many of you guys that spend half your life on the road. I know it's difficult, but that nutrition is such a major thing. I mean, eating fast food every day and trying to do what you guys do can be physically exhausting. I know for sure, man, it will kill you. So
3 years ago when we were out with the 69 Eyes,
Mhm.
it was easy. And it was different too, because we were in a van the whole time. We were a van. The five of us would drive, while the four of us, I kind of avoided the driving a little bit, as they'll never let me live that down. But so like that was fine. But then I sat on my ass and played video games for 2 years and wrote music during COVID. And
Right.
and now coming back out and like doing this every day it's a little different. It's a
Yeah.
little different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's got to be difficult. You have this thing that you love and that you've tweaked and you've recorded, and it's exactly what you want, and you want to unleash it on the world, and then nothing. The world falls apart. It's desolate. Nobody's doing anything. That had to be extremely difficult.
We had literally wrapped up Doom Awaits, which talks about how we're all fucked, the world's ending. This is going on. It's got like news clips left and right, and then they announced COVID.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Very bizarre.
Life imitating art, maybe, huh?
It was insane.
Is there anything you'd do differently for the next record?
Is there anything I would do differently?
Yeah.
There's a lot. Yeah, we've actually finished the next record already. I've already finished another record and a half with John and Logan.
Good news, man.
We got it in the bag. I don't know if those songs are going to make all to the second record, because during COVID you go through so many. I don't know if you did, but I know I went through a lot of emotions, a lot of anger, a lot of like just waiting, just hurry up and waiting.
Right.
Watching the world slow down, our precious industry, and watching people be done, and keeping everybody else at home when we could be out there, healing together. And it just wrote a lot of stuff. Wrote some heavy stuff, a lot heavier than what is on this record. I wrote some stuff that was a lot softer. I lost a few of my friends during COVID, so I wrote a couple things for them, and it's definitely a much different record for sure.
Well, I would imagine, because it was a much different time. So that those couple of years for all of us, emotional and a roller coaster for sure. You guys did Who Will Rock You, that television show, and I'm looking at this thing, and for my first thought is, we have American Idol, we have The Voice, they're great in their own way and they do their own thing, but it's mostly a pop or country. There's not too much. You got Daughtry from that, who was kind of a rock guy, but you don't really have
he's great.
A rock. Yeah, he is. But you don't really have a rock show with those. There's not too many rockers. You guys were. That show it kind of had that edge to it, to where there were bands that were rocking, which kind of that's I'm sure that's why it didn't make it very long, but you guys were on that show. Tell me about that experience. How was that for you?
I'm not gonna lie. I was unsure if I was gonna do it, and then I found out Dee Snider was gonna be a host, like one of the judges, and I was like, "Yep, all right, whatever. I'm gonna go do it just to shake the fucking guy's hand."
Twisted fan, you are?
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh yeah, I'm not only a fan of his work, but I'm a fan of what he stood for.
Yeah.
With Frank Zappa back in the day. Yeah. So he's a fucking legend. It's awesome.
Yeah.
and got to know him, and he's very supportive still. Awesome guy, and it was worth it just for that.
That's cool. Yeah, and he was a judge on the show, and in that final episode, he makes a comment that, you know, he chose the other band, Hounds, I believe they were, because they had a more original sound. He loved both of you guys, but they were something he hadn't heard. What were your thoughts? You know, at that time, that had to sting a little. Did that comment or the whole
It didn't
experience?
sting.
No. Okay. Did it change your approach at all?
No,
No.
man. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, and if that's how he felt about them, that's how he felt about him. It's like wine, man. I drink cab, but if you come at me with a dry white, I'm not going to make fun of you for it. Like, I don't know, dude. Everybody's entitled to their opinion of music. I've never been the type of guy that's like, oh man, you like that sound and not the sound that I like. It's not my jam. So we went out there to have fun, and that the company that held it took us for a ride. We got to go to Nashville for the first time ever. They took care of us the whole freaking time. Top Golf is a great corporation. I mean, at least from our experience with them. Mm-hmm. And we're grateful. We're grateful for that. And we gained a bunch of new fans. The show released at the beginning of our tour to 69 Eyes. And for a band that was going on our first tour ever, like one of three, we were having people come up to the merch booth and the stage, you know, before and after the show going like, loved you on We'll Rock You. You guys should have won this and that. Just people we've never met before. And so it was very fruitful for our tour. So I'm very grateful we were on the show.
Yeah. And it was fun to watch. And like I say, it's cool to have a rock band out there.
Oh yeah, and I'm glad we didn't win because the contract for the winners was a little silly. But I just say nothing.
Yeah, you know, I've heard that. And, you know, I'm a friend of Mariah Formica from Plush. If you know that band, but she was
Plush.
Yeah, 4 girls out
of love that band.
Upstate New York. They're so great.
So I went to go support Will from Evanescence at their Houston show. And I saw Plush open for Hailstorm and Evanescence, and they were insane.
They are just so great, and they're really great people, and they got their head on straight, and they're young, and they just have they have the whole world at their fingertips, and you know, it's really cool to see. And I've known Mariah since she was 15, so it was really great to connect with her at that time because she's just the same person she is now. I don't know how she did it at 15 to be so level-headed and so focused. But she was on The Voice, and she did not win. She went like 4 stages into it, but you know, I was talking to her and her dad, who was managing them, and they were saying that it's almost, you don't want to win that. You know, it's kind of that thing where they own you. You know.
Yeah, and I'm not talking shit about the company. You know, what I mean? Like, I'm not saying. I think it's great they have the show, and that could definitely be a situation for people. But that's just not the situation for this band.
Right.
So.
Right. You know, you're getting into a contract that, you know, is good for the band, but it may not be exactly what you want. So you know, it's really
mostly that. And I like calling the shots. I'm kind of a control freak. So it's like to give somebody else that much power over this band was like, I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. And it's cool that it helped you guys so much too and got you the exposure for sure. On that show, you did a cover of Wicked Game, Chris Isaak's Wicked Game. Really cool cover. I think your voice really fit it well.
So,
you know, covers, no, it's okay. Covers do really well these days. You know, a lot of bands hit big with covers. Did you ever consider recording that song and releasing it as a single?
I'm not going to do that. So here's what I did, because I didn't know where this show was going to go. I hadn't really heard of it yet. And I felt like it's very rare that you see, at least before Metamorphosis, we were doing more of the dark and brooding stuff, like His Infernal Majesty, like Typo Negative, like Sisters of Mercy.
Right.
69 Eyes, all that stuff.
Right.
It's very rare you hear that sound in anything that could be somewhat considered like a mainstream rock and roll show.
Yes.
And just as we got that show, we have other covers that we do here and there. But him had just announced that they were breaking up. And so we actually did a cover of a cover. That was like our version of him's Wicked Game, kind of just like as a tribute of like, hey guys, like, thank you for everything. You know what I mean? I actually never thought I'd ever be telling anybody that. We kind of just did it because we felt good about it. And we're like, let's kind of like pay tribute to the band that just kind of, cut things off. But yeah, that was, I don't think I could ever do that, because it would be, that version is a cover of a cover. And I feel like if we recorded it and tried to release it for any gain or clout like that, it'd be a little silly. I wouldn't mind doing my own version of Chris Isaak's Wicked Game, but it wouldn't sound like his, like what we did on that show. That was absolutely just like a hey, thanks for everything. Thanks for the influence.
That's really cool. That's really cool. Tell me, if you could have coffee and a conversation with anybody in the world, who would that be?
Alive or dead?
Alive.
Alive? Damn it.
A dead's too easy.
Oh God. You think who's still alive that I absolutely would love to have coffee with? Jesus. Probably Trent Reznor.
Okay. Interesting guy. Interesting guy.
I want to know what programs he uses live to keep that show on point.
Wow. Have you ever seen him? You have
yeah, I saw them a couple times.
Okay. Yeah. It's
Ooh, maybe Till from Rammstein. Damn it.
Oh yeah.
Just, and maybe not coffee. Maybe I drink mezcal with him.
You would have to, right?
Yeah.
You can find out how he lights himself on fire, and
Yeah. Rammstein was definitely a huge band I was listening to and writing Metamorphosis. That was
Yeah. Now, you mentioned Trent Reznor and you mentioned Till from, those are industrial type electronic programming kind of stuff. I hear some of that, but not a lot on the Nocturnal Affair stuff. Are you going to go a little more in that direction maybe in the future?
In some songs, kind of. Yeah. It's weird. It's like I'll write a song influenced by a certain thing, and then I'll be like, okay, well, if I'm going to make a record, a lot of the songs kind of have to go together, sound the same. So I'll write a song that maybe has some electronic aspects to it, and then I'll write another song that sounds like it's from a fucking doom band. And I'm like, oh well, shit, it sounds like two different fucking bands. Like I don't know what to do. That's a lot of the next record. So I got a feeling I got to go back into the studio and maybe record a few more songs that are musically similar to what I've got going on, because I literally was thinking about calling the second record just Identity Crisis, because I don't know how I want it to fucking sound. I love too many genres. I love writing too many styles, and Moyer just enables me. He's just like, oh wow, this one's kind of just like rock and roll. Let's do it. And then I'll do another one. He's like, this is absolutely industrial. Okay, whatever. Let's do it. And then I'll do another one. He's like, what is this acoustic? Like there's a song that Logan Mader brought to the table, because he actually, so Logan wrote Beyond the Wall of Sleep, the instrumental part of it. So he brought that to me forever ago. We were pitching to some labels, and they were like, let's see what you can do with Logan. And Logan was like, well, I've got this song. He'd written it for a couple other bands, and they had said no. And I heard it, and I was like, what the fuck? This is great. Yeah. Amazing composer, Logan is. And I was like, let me put some vocals down. And he was like, cool. You think you get in the booth in like 20 minutes? And I was like, I was going to take this home and sit there, turn the lights low, and maybe like have some wine and write some lyrics. And he's like, no, let's do it now. We're going to do it. I was like, oh God.
Wow.
So he puts the song on repeat, like goes and makes himself some kind of fitness smoothie, because that guy's like, that dude is just, he's healthy all the time. Like if Whole Foods and Gold's Gym had a baby, it would be Logan Mader. And so he's like making some kind of fucking organic smoothie that's making him like fucking Popeye. And I just sat there and I wrote the lyrics and just kept playing repeat. And then he'd hear some of it and be like, why don't you say this instead or do this melody instead? And we made the song and that was that.
Wow.
And, it ended up on the record. So
and it's a great tune. It's one of my favorites on the record. I love that tune.
There's like 3 different versions of that song. There's a song where I don't sing with my baritone, I sing higher. And then there's a song where he got the singer from a band called Raw to I don't know, you know that band?
No, Raw?
Raw. It's like Egyptian metal from like the 90s and 2000s, and they are sick as fuck. Wow. If you've never heard of Raw, R-A, like the god. Insane.
Oh, Raw. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Are they from Egypt? They are.
I'm not sure. I don't know his history, but I do know the singer is an insane songwriter, insane top line writer. So we were going back and forth about the chorus because it's not like a traditional poppy chorus, and sometimes you get caught up in wanting to get there as far as your career goes, and you go, you know, should I be creative or do I want to please these guys that can take my career to the next level? And it sucks. It's a weird dynamic to kind of be battling yourself in your head about. And I always told myself, I'll always be true to the music and I'll never try to please anyone else. But then like when they come knocking on your door and they go, hey buddy, here's what I can do. You go, well, do I want to play the game for 5 seconds and then do whatever the fuck I want to do afterwards? And so he was like, well, if you think you want a better chorus, let's send it to Homeboy. And he did. And the guy, you know, sent me back a melody to write lyrics over. And so there's a whole separate version of Beyond the Wall of Sleep with a different chorus.
Wow.
That it's not really me, so we didn't use it, but
okay.
We used my original, you know, we trusted the music on that one. But it's almost a completely different song. And
that's cool. That is really cool. Maybe a bonus track on the reissue, maybe?
Maybe.
Yeah. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear it. It's cool. I want to respect your time. Brendan's been a fantastic slice of the day right here. What's next for the band? What, you know, you got that album done. You got this tour going on. Are you going to continue on a smaller headlining tour for you guys or something like that?
There's something out there. We're currently just looking for something that fits. We're seeing how the single's doing, and we're just trying to build those numbers, let everybody know who we are, and if something makes sense, we'll play it. I think we might be playing with Earshot in Vegas sometime in June.
Okay.
Which is want to see the world, man.
Which is a local show for you guys, a Vegas-based band. You know, it's like I've always wanted to go to Vegas, man. Ever since I was little. I'm in Chicago, so you know, the lights and stuff. I think, wow, that's cool. That's good. How do you grow up in Vegas, man?
It's oh man, it spoils you for sure, because you know, we're touring around. Aside from Jersey, we actually in New York. Comes 3 a.m, you know, the guys played a show. Maybe we skipped a meal or something. We're all hungry. We're all from Vegas, and in Vegas at 3 a.m, you're like, you know what? Cheeseburger sounds good. Or you're like, oh crap, I need a gallon of milk and some eggs. Nothing's open. Nothing's open past anywhere else. And we're like, Jesus Christ, why is everybody crazy and closed? But people come to Vegas and go, oh my God, y'all are psycho. Why is everything open? So it's definitely spoils you. I hate gambling. Gambling's stupid.
Yeah.
But you know, if you want to hit a bar at like 5 a.m. for whatever reason, I guess it enables you to do that. I don't necessarily like to unless they got steak and eggs, but yeah.
That's pretty cool. Hey, Brendan, I so enjoyed this. It's great. I hope to catch you again at another show. It would be great. We can hang. We can do.
Come to Vegas, bro.
Yeah, man, that would be so great. I've always wanted to, ever since I was a little kid. So yeah, I'll hit you up if I head to Vegas and you're around. We'll do a drink or something.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, man.
All right. I'll show you some cool coffee shops.
Fantastic, man. All right. Hey, Brendan, I'll see you down the road.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Absolutely.
Bro. All right. All right.